Lights are good. Camera's good. Let's see what we got. The Sixers are broken, and they lost in the second round. I think these are last year's notes. Can you get me this year's, please? These are this year's. Okay. Wait, but the Sixers got a new coach and a new front office, and they changed the roster. But it's still not the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid thing that's wrong. Okay. I'm just I'm just going to go ahead and be really dramatic and make fake Ben Simmons trades anyway. Cool. What's up, fellas? We got to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers today. They are broken as a team, as a franchise, as an organization. It doesn't work. The Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid thing needs to end. It needs to be changed. They cannot move forward and continue to do this year after year where they continue to try something that so very clearly just doesn't work. Which is kind of crazy because this team has been through so much over the last handful of years, okay? They went 18-64, 10-72, 28-54 year after year after year of not just losing seasons, but historically bad losing seasons to put this team together. And then once it started to not really work out the way that they hoped that it would, they've lost in the second round 3 out of the last 4 years. They've lost in the first round 1 out of the last 4 years. They have not made the conference finals for 4 years in a row, despite having a really good team for 3 of those. They've had now 2 different head coaches with Doc Rivers coming in this year. Doc Rivers, who is now arguably the most overrated head coach of all time. And if he had never won a title with the Celtics, probably would not get a job anymore anywhere else in the NBA. They've had multiple different members in the front office, with now Daryl Morey being there. They've had a ton of different roster shakeups, whether it be with Jimmy Butler, without Jimmy Butler, with guys like Robert Covington and Dario Saric, without those guys, with Tobias Harris. They had Markelle Fultz. They traded him away. They've tried almost to make the James Harden trade. They've tried roster after roster after roster, and it doesn't work. And the one constant, the one consistent point about Philadelphia for the last 4 to 5 years is the fact that it's Ben Simmons and it's Joel Embiid. Go back and look. Seriously, look at everything about this team for the last 4 to 5 years. Roster, coach, front office, doesn't matter. It's been those 2 guys being together, being on the court, and it just doesn't work. It's indefensible. If you're someone that is still trying to defend this combination of players on the court with their current skill sets, I don't know what to tell you. We have had example after example after piece of evidence after piece of evidence that this does not work. And I personally am going to put a lot of the blame on Ben Simmons because I have seen Joel Embiid in his career improve into an MVP caliber player. He has developed his skill set to try and fit alongside Ben Simmons. He recognized that Ben Simmons is not a great outside shooter. He became a near 40% three-point shooter. He has developed his perimeter skill set. He has improved as a passer. He is an awesome defender. Meanwhile, Ben Simmons has improved as an NBA player. He's a bit better of a playmaker. He's a much better and more engaged defender. But offensively, he is almost a complete zero. We have a $32 million a year guy standing in the dunker spot in fourth quarters. I think he attempted single-digit fourth quarter shot attempts in a 7-game series total. Overall, not per game. Overall, in the entire series, I'm pretty confident he attempted single-digit field goal attempts in the fourth quarter of a 7-game series. It is mind-boggling to me, the lack of skill development from Ben Simmons as a perimeter player. And there's just no excuse for it. We have tons and tons and tons of players in this league that are not good three-point shooters, yet they shoot them anyway. Giannis, Russ. And Ben Simmons is the only one that presumably, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, presumably he is working on his three-point shot in the offseason. He is trying to improve it. I'm going to say that, yes, he is actually attempting to improve his skill set, but then he doesn't actually attempt any in the game, so it doesn't matter. It has to be a mental thing. It has to be some kind of block for him where he doesn't want to go out there and shoot 20% from 3 because he knows that everybody's going to talk about it, but he's actively hurting his team by not even attempting anything in a game. Then again, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he is trying to improve as a player. He's trying to be the player that this team needs, yet he won't attempt to do it when he's out there on the floor. And I will give him this piece of credit. He has attempted to fit into a different role this year with Philadelphia. Doc Rivers was clearly very honest with him at one point and said, hey, you're not going to be a guy that's going to be handling the ball a ton on the perimeter. We're going to be using you more as a screener. We're going to be leaning in more to what you can do defensively. And he accepted that role. The problem is Philly needs perimeter creation. They need a guy that can create for other players. They need someone that can get open shots for other guys, and that player doesn't exist on this roster if it's not Ben Simmons. It's not going to be Tobias Harris at the highest level that you need. Embiid's already doing everything he can offensively. They need Ben Simmons to be somebody that he's clearly not comfortable being, which means that they need to make some changes. The Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid thing needs to end. This is the last straw. They have tried everything else. They have given every benefit of the doubt to this combination, and it simply has not worked. So where could Ben Simmons potentially be ending up? We'll do a whole giant trade machine, I'm sure, at some point on Simmons once we get closer into the offseason, because I don't think they're going to be trading him like within the next week or anything. They're going to take their time with this, okay? But let's just go through a short list. What about potentially Golden State? They have assets. Ben Simmons could be a really good defender for them. He could be the Draymond Green 2.0 for that group. The problem for Philly is that they need assets that are going to help them right now. This is a good basketball team. They've got Embiid. They've got Tobias Harris, assuming they don't trade him. This is a team that had the best record in the Eastern Conference this year. They're good. And so they can't be getting James Wiseman in a Minnesota pick. That's not what they need. They need guys that can help them now. And even if Andrew Wiggins is involved in the deal, that's not super helpful for them, even as cool as I think it would be to see Ben Simmons in Golden State. Next up, what about Dallas? Kristaps Porzingis is a disappointing player that potentially Dallas could look to move. But do you really want like a Twin Towers thing in Philly with two guys that are getting hurt all the time and Embiid and Porzingis? Probably not. What about Oklahoma City? You can give them a call and say, hey, you guys just got Kemba Walker. We've got Ben Simmons. The ideal version of what Kemba could provide is exactly what this roster needs. They need perimeter creation. They need shooting. They need scoring. They need someone that can get the ball and run ball screens every single time down the floor. But Kemba's hurt all the time. He's older. And we don't really know if he's ever going to be the same player again. And so that's a huge risk for Philadelphia, even as cool, again, as I think it would be for Oklahoma City to end up with Ben Simmons to go along with Shea and potentially the 1st and 5th pick in this draft. We'll see what happens with the lottery tomorrow night. That would be super cool. Next up, Charlotte. They've got Gordon Hayward, a perimeter creator, a guy that can facilitate for you. Maybe they'll take a shot at Ben Simmons. They know they don't really have a chance to get a guy like that in free agency, so why not make a move? Why not make that trade? Go out and trade, Hayward and stuff for Ben Simmons. But again, is Philadelphia interested in that? I have no idea. And then Portland. This is the one that makes the most sense. Portland needs defense. Ben Simmons, I think, should have been the defensive player of the year this year. They have a perimeter creator in CJ McCollum they can flip for Ben Simmons. They have Lillard that can create so that Simmons doesn't have to fit into that role. A Simmons Lillard ball screen combination sounds fantastic because what teams like to do against Lillard is they like to trap him, get the ball out of his hands. And if you get Ben Simmons on a short roll and a 4-on-3, he's going to create plays. He's going to wreak havoc on the defense. I think that's a fantastic swap. CJ gives them the perimeter creation that they need. But the problem is, I have no idea how the rest of the league values Ben Simmons, and I have no idea how Philadelphia values Ben Simmons. I don't know anything about what this guy's trade value is. I have zero idea. It doesn't seem like Philadelphia is all that confident in him when you see the post-game comments from Embiid and from Doc Rivers. They don't seem all that confident that he's the guy that they need. And I don't know if any team around the league is all that excited about bringing in Ben Simmons at the salary that he's making when they're completely unsure about his skill set, apart from being a really good defender. There's just no intel on this guy on what anybody would be willing to trade for him. And at the end of the day, this team is just a mess. Tobias Harris should be at most the number 3 guy on a championship team. Embiid is fantastic, but the injury stuff continues to come up, and it's really unfortunate, but that's the reality of the situation. And Simmons just doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It needs to change, and it will change. I can almost guarantee you Ben Simmons won't be on this roster by the time next season starts, and there will be some significant changes to the roster in Philadelphia. I really don't know what else they could. Can they change the name of the team? Like, that's the only other thing that they could change at this point to try and get the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid thing to work. It just doesn't. It's frustrating, the lack of skill development. It's frustrating that he won't even attempt to be a spacer on the floor. And it's frustrating that there are other guys that seem to be, making the effort to improve, and for whatever reason, Simmons is not that much better of a player now than he was when he came in the league. Like I said, slightly better playmaker, better defender. He's more engaged and more active on that on the floor. But from an offensive creation, perimeter creation standpoint, it's just not there. It's just not there for Ben Simmons. And they've built this team backwards from what we know works in this modern era of the NBA, which is a lot of guys on the perimeter. They can create lots of ball screens, you kick and you drive, and they've got a point guard that can't shoot, that doesn't ever really run any pick and rolls, and they've got a big guy that's the best post player in the league, arguably, between him and Nikola Jokic, but they don't have spacing and shooting around him. There have to be moves made, and like I said, at some point we'll make a Ben Simmons trade machine. Today is not that day. Today is the day to just really establish that something needs to change in Philadelphia, and it has to be a Ben Simmons trade. There just has to be something there. There has to be a team around the league that looks at Ben Simmons and thinks that they can fix whatever he's got going on. This is now two different players in Philadelphia that have just forgotten how to shoot the basketball between Simmons and Markelle Fultz. Something needs to change. I don't know. You guys can let me know down in the comment section below who you kind of have on the short list of teams that could be looking to trade for Ben Simmons. And we'll see. We'll see where he ends up going because, like I said, I'd be shocked if he doesn't end up getting moved. But yeah, I mean, that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out more videos from me, the box on screen. Leave a like rating as well. Subscribe for more videos every single day. I should have said this during the video. Congrats to Atlanta, by the way, for making the conference finals. All credit to them. Just had to talk about Philly today. Right? Congrats to Atlanta. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Catch you next time. Peace, fellas.